My flexibility and attentiveness will surely contribute to your company. I'm very flexible for any change at work. When we organize study upload fairs, orientations, unexpected things happen quite often. For example, we expected some senior students talk about their study upload experience for orientation. For first freshman at orientation, but one of them didn't show up. So instead of getting panic, my team instantly gave students useful lecture, including informative information for exchange students, not to get them bored. Another example is like this. We held an event and prepared for enough handout, but we had more students than we expected. So we needed to print them out and provided them extremely short time. Even though unexpected issues happen, I can find something I can do for making things better and handle unexpected issues at my best. I'm well prepared to handle any situation that your passengers might have on board. As I'm engaged 5 study abroad programs, I need to handle lots of tasks at the same time. What I do every morning is checking emails and to-do list which I made previous day, then prioritize my tasks and start to complete one by one in priority order. At the same time, when students come to the office to ask about the study abroad programs and other problems out of my regular jobs, I of course take responsibility for them and take care of these things at my best. So I'm able to handle required tasks in timely manner and adjust to busy environment. I know the way I can make the most comfortable flights for passengers with my experience of a caregiver. When working as a caregiver, every day I needed to work with different staff on the different floor under various situations. I always made a good atmosphere because I knew making good atmosphere will lead to good teamwork. Working for Finnair, I will do the same things as I did a caregiver. And I can be of a lot of help to someone who really needs support on board and make comfortable flights for everyone. I can be of a lot of help to someone who really needs support on board and provide a memorable experience with Finnair. At office, I always make welcoming and friendly atmosphere for incoming exchange students. Many of them are here in Japan for the first time, and they try to adjust to new life and Japanese culture. To make them feel at ease and happy to be here in Japan, I always talk closely and communicate well with them whenever they come to the office. Also, when we have a talk, I ask them if there are some problems or questions about anything regarding study abroad and life in Japan. I can make close relationship with anyone and always happy to help and support whenever someone needs. I'm always confident to work efficiently and make cabin well organized. At office now, I make stationary area public space clean and tidy. Whenever someone left behind or forgot to get something back to the position, I return them so that next person can easily find them to work efficiently. Making comfortable office environment is my pleasure. I make comfortable atmosphere for students. I make comfortable atmosphere for students to tell us about real feeling about going abroad and personal issues. To overcome their weaknesses and solve their worries, we give them most suitable advice and encourage them to step forward. For example, there was a student with low academic record. We advised him to take International English Language Test (IELTS) and to get appropriate score for the program. He really studied hard and fulfilled the requirement. He deeply appreciated us and finally got the opportunity to study abroad and went through great experiences. To contribute to company's sense of strong responsibility and attentiveness of mind I gained from working experience at nursing home and at university will surely help. At university, I needed to work intensively on making accurate documents, which have complicating figures and contents. Whenever students come to the office to ask about study abroad programs and other problems, I take responsibility for them and take care of them with best my ability. I'm well prepared to handle any situation that your passengers might have on board. So I'm confident to meet passengers' needs and expectations, and they will fly with the company again. I carry out necessary procedures for students to get scholarships. When students apply for the scholarship, they submit written applications and tax certificate. So I receive and check them to see all the necessary documents are correctly handed in. I also advise students to bring right certificate whenever they fail to submit. I also point out some errors so that students can edit their written applications and handle it as soon as possible. I make screening documents in Excel, which include approximately 100 students about family structure, family income, and the reason for application to study abroad. The documents are used for selection meeting where professors who are engaged in study abroad programs participate. To make everyone read these documents more easily, I even pay attention for the size and font of characters in Excel columns. This makes us easier to smoothly spot the student on the Excel sheet and talk about student. We organize study abroad fairs, orientations, and briefing sessions. We book a room for those events and prepare for PC and microphone. We also ask senior students who already went study abroad previous year and talk about their experience. To present their experience, we check the contents and links of presentations. Whenever students come to the office to ask about study abroad programs, I promptly answer and provide some advice for them to apply for the next step. Whenever we have events, we have prepared distribution materials. Before printing them, we need to find changes from previous year version. Then we pass them around our office and check them to see there's no mistakes and all the materials are correct. I collect report from students after study abroad programs and put them in alphabetical university order in folders for view. I check their transcript and inform students to transfer their credits they earned in summer study abroad programs to the university. We make invoice of summer study abroad programs and send them to students. We contact partnership university whenever we need to ask some inquiries, official transcript, and invoice. We collect feedbacks from students after study abroad programs and summarize them and make use for the next year and send them to partnership universities with thank you letters. I had difficulty creating documents in Excel. I could only use basic Excel because I haven't been using Microsoft Office for a long time. So when I faced using Excel. I asked my colleagues as well searching information online myself. Last few months, I took private lessons, so now I'm confident using Excel. Learning new things is a lot of fun, and I've learned I can do anything when I'm well prepared to learn new things. When I didn't get well with my colleagues, I became always listen to and try to understand my colleagues. I also had open mind to explain my thought. Whenever I communicate with people, I keep in mind to think everyone is different and have a different sense of values. I have also learned that daily communication is very important to understand others. So I try to communicate with them as much as possible to make close relationship. I perform a lot of making good atmosphere for everyone to work with. I know making good atmosphere will lead to good and efficient teamwork. I see the situation very carefully and try will help and support whenever someone needs. When someone is just listening to other person talk, I make comfortable atmosphere for the person to talk smoothly. I always keep in mind to have a wide perspective to work with people. When I worked at previous job nursing home, I had difficulty providing bathing care for a senior who didn't like taking a bath. She was a person who even didn't want to hear about bath. To make things easier, I started having daily conversation with her as much as possible. Whenever I had time, I tried to communicate with her to understand her feelings. One day, she herself came to a bathing room and went back. Next day, she herself came to the bathing room and took a foot bath. Finally, I was able to provide bathing care for her, and she looked pleasant. It took me long, but I always tried accepting her feelings. I have learned that it is very important to respect someone's opinion so that the person can feel more present and comfortable. I am capable of managing everyday jobs and being responsible for every single job.